Hey everyone! Today we're going to take you through the entire process of buying a house in Greece based on our own personal experiences of owning a property in Zakynthos. In 2023 we began a Greek island house renovation, and in this video we'll share what we've learned so far, offer some tips and walk you through each step from start to finish. Let's get into it.
Let's begin with finding a house. The first step is, of course, finding the right house. There are lots of ways you can do this. You can start your search online. There are plenty of property websites out there. But we also found that Facebook groups can be a great way to find properties directly from the sellers. A lot of people prefer to sell privately to avoid the extra fees.
Another thing to note, estate agents in Greece aren't always officially registered like they are in other countries. So you need to be careful and do your research on who you're dealing with. Also, it's common for buildings or developments to have signs outside advertising that they're for sale by the owner. This is perfectly normal.
Let's look at off-plan and new developments now. If you're thinking about buying off-plan or a new development, be extra cautious. Make sure everything is in writing, especially if the developer or seller promises to finish parts of the property, like installing a kitchen, a bathroom or other fittings. Don't just rely on verbal agreements. Get all of the promises signed by the developer and by your lawyer.
Agreeing on the price. Once you've found a house you like, it's time to agree on the price. You can negotiate just like in any other country. Some sellers might ask for a deposit, but in our case we didn't pay one. Be ready for this depending on the seller's preferences.
Hiring a lawyer. You'll now need to find a good lawyer. We found ours through the estate agent who manages lots of sales in the area. You'll find that most legal professionals will be connected in some way and will have done business with each other many times, so getting recommendations shouldn't be a problem. Most Greek lawyers speak multiple languages, so communication shouldn't be a huge barrier.
A lawyer is essential for navigating the legal side of the purchase, especially if you're not fluent in Greek. They'll handle all the contracts and make sure everything is legally sound.
Power of attorney.
If you can't be in Greece to sign the documents, you can give power of attorney to your lawyer. This allows them to sign on your behalf. You can do this at the consular office or through a notaire. It's a pretty straightforward process and can save you a lot of hassle, especially if you're handling the purchase from abroad like we were. Greek tax number.
To move forward with the purchase, you'll need a Greek tax number called an AFM. This is required for all transactions in Greece. You'll also need to open a Greek bank account, although we ended up using a Euro account from a UK-based bank. Depending on your own situation, that might be a good option for you too.
Accountants and taxes. Next, you'll need a Greek accountant. The tax forms in Greece are much more complex than the UK self-assessment system, so a specialist is absolutely necessary. They help you file your annual tax returns, and once you see how much is involved, you'll realise you definitely need their expertise to avoid any issues.
Let's look at all of the costs involved. We'll break down some costs involved in buying a house in Greece now. First of all, taxes. You'll pay around 3 to 4% in property taxes.
Notary fees. These typically amount to about 1% of the purchase price.
Lawyers' fees. Expect to pay between 1 to 2% of the property price for legal services.
Agent fees. Estate agent fees can range from 2 to 5%, so factor that into your budget if you're working with an agent.
Removal fees. You'll find that these vary greatly depending on where you're starting from and where you're ending up.
Mortgages and financing. If you need to finance the property, securing a mortgage as a foreigner in Greece can be tricky. We'll cover this in more detail in a future video with a financial expert who will tell you all of the options available to fund and purchase abroad.
Finalising the purchase. Once everything is agreed on and paid, you'll sign the final documents. You'll also need to pay a property tax called an NFIA every year. And if you're buying in a block of apartments or condos, don't forget to pay your maintenance fees promptly, or you might face penalties and you'll definitely face disgruntled neighbours. Keep the peace by being well aware of what needs paying in advance, and don't let anything take away from the incredible feeling you'll have of owning your own dream property abroad.
Utilities and services. After the purchase is complete, you'll need to register for utilities like electricity, water and gas. It's a straightforward process, but like everything else in Greece, it requires a little bit of patience.
Special considerations for properties. Now, you might notice that some properties in Greece seem quite cheap compared to other European countries. One reason for this is the 1996 seismic building regulations. If you're buying an older house, you want to make sure it complies with these regulations, but your surveyor should do this for you.
Also remember that all properties in Greece are freehold, which is great. But if you're buying in a block of apartments, your lawyer should check what you're responsible for in terms of joint bills and maintenance fees. This can save you from the surprises further down the road.
So that pretty much wraps up our experience of the entire buying process in Greece, from searching for the perfect property to dealing with utilities and taxes.
We hope this video has been helpful for anyone considering buying a property in Greece. If you found it useful, make sure to like, comment and subscribe for more tips on buying a property abroad and everything else to do with our Ionian Island house renovation.
See you in the next video.